First of all, hello everybody. Today our research topic is the role of hospitality industry in food waste issue and development of 12th goal of sustainable development goals inside the hospitality industry and South Korea case. Our teammates are Nasib Giyasova Sabina, Tolkinov Muhammad Amin, and Turaiva Ruxona. Next slide, please. Let me introduce our table of contents. Firstly, introduction, and then we'll do research topic discussion. And then research objectives, research questions, and as you can see, finally, future research suggestions. Let me start. Okay, as you can see by its title, the topic covers two main subtopics. First one is food waste in hospitality industry. The food waste and food loss term is a gigantic problematic topic by itself. In order to narrow down and increase the quality of data, the research paper learns contribution of hospitality industry to the food waste and food loss issue. The second one is 12th goal of sustainable development goals, which is responsible consumption and production. From our personal point of view, even though food waste is one of the challenging points for successful tourism and hospitality around the world, as well as hospitality is one of the main contributors to food waste and food loss problems. Humanity is working on it and have made significant steps in order to minimize the issue. That's why the second part of the title covers what humanity have already done and future steps planned to solve the food waste and food loss in the shape of Sustainable Development Goals number 12. Next slide, please. Understanding a scope and importance of food waste and food loss as a serious issue is essential to focus on another social and other issue and start fighting against them for bright future of humanity. For example, having clear view on how many foods have been wasted or lost in every stage of food chain helps to reduce the hunger issue level in significant way. Coin always has two sides. If it's impossible to save 100 of grown and or produced food, then perhaps we can direct the food which is being wasted to solve the problem with hunger all over the world. With a great hope, I believe that this paper and all information what it contains will be a tool and key information to wake the alarm up in everyone's mind and motive the humanity to start thinking about food wisely. Additionally, it can be useful in further research in hospitality industry achievements and or challenges of sustainable development and so on. So thank you. Next part will be continued.
Thank you. Research objective. As it was mentioned above, research has several objectives. It will learn about how big is the contribution of hospitality industry to food waste and food loss issues in both positive and negative meanings. Also, it will identify what society, organization, business, and government is doing in order to tackle the issue by developing 12 goal of sustainable development goals. So includes access activities involved for the proposed and determine the type, nature, and estimated volumes of waste to be generated, identify any potential environmental impact from the generation of waste at the site, and recommend appropriate waste handling and disposal measures, routines in accordance with current legislative and administrative requirements, and categorize waste material where practicable for disposal considerations. for example, public filling areas and landfill. So the main and general research question is what is the role of hospitality industry in food waste issue, and what is the connection with the taking actions in the development of the 12 goals of sustainable development inside the hospitality industry. So the next. My partner is going to continue.
Well, thanks to previous speakers. Now let's continue with the research question. Well, for this research, observation and then focus group methods of qualitative research method was chosen. As far as we know, the research covers two subtitles. First one is about food waste in hospitality industry. And then the second one is about 12 SDG. During the first observation of hospitality-related places in South Korea, and then we're gonna observe the situation for certain amount of days by taking notes about amount of wasted food. Well, the second part of research will be focus group type, and then that will be for the second objective of the paper. Well, the selected focus group will be in two categories and given questions depending on the category type. First one is experts who are working on development SDG, and to be more exact, the group of people who are working on 12 goals. Second group of people will be usual people who live in South Korea. First group will be asked like questions such as how effective is work going, and then what are the major changes from already taken steps to develop 12 SDG, and then what is the main factors in developing this goal. Then last question will be how many years are needed to achieve the maximum, like in the opinion of experts in South Korea. So, and then when it comes to the second group, they will need to answer questions like, have you seen the major change comparing last decades or the last 2 years? And then what do you think, how big is the food waste issue in Korea? Then after getting all answers, they will be analyzed in order to link these two subtitles and then answer to the research question with evidence. Thank you. Next part will be continued by my group member.
Thank you. The last part of our research is about future research suggestions. So while research results are important in identifying promising interventions, attention should be paid to other factors in their widespread implementations. Research groups on the implementation of interventions aimed at achieving the objectives of public policy are developed and rapidly. However, relatively few of those studies are specifically addressing food waste, and efforts are needed to balance the development of food waste policies with the activities to disseminate and implement them. The implementation of interventions identified as promising is not only due to unexpected outcomes, but also to factors such as feasibility, competence, fidelity, to interventions design and cost and suitability for the environment in which the intervention is deployed. You need to pay attention the translations research, for example. The translation research is required to apply the framework methods and existing knowledge from conduct research to food waste initiatives. And the second one is many of the interventions studied have shown significant effects in reducing food waste at the consumer level in experimental environments. However, only a few of those promising interventions have been systematically evaluated for their effectiveness in real world. And large-scale applications. Significant reductions in food waste at the consumer level requires high level of efficiency and effectiveness. A combination of intervention development and implementation studies is needed to identify and improve the most promising interventions so that they can be practiced on a scale of sufficient to produce meaningful effects. If you have any questions, you can search from our references, which we found for our presentation. And this is the end of our research presentation about food waste. Thank you for your attention.